also a low-cost, continuous, expandable, and most importantly, feasible solution specifically designed for OLPC Asia. So, why don't we do that now? Anthony, that's us now.
Okay, so just to give you a feel what the students have created in 2009, and now it's 2012, and we still haven't had the money yet, right? But basically, as I say, I'd like to actually to raise out a very important question, which I want you to think about, is from current, right? Do you think Hong Kong students can make a difference in Asia? A yes or no? Well, they have all the ideas, very well presented, seems to be it can be implemented, right? Oh, for political reason. Oh, okay. So anyway, we don't go into politics. Basically, the question is that, do you think Hong Kong students can make a difference? And then again, we have Benson, who was my student 10 years ago, and that was when he was young, and you see, and that's my son, and we were actually building servers for some organization, right? And that one is when we had the Sichuan department, we have 4 students coming, okay? So, how many would say yes, and how many would say no?
Positive.
Wait, well, we listen to the younger generation. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you're optimistic that Hong Kong students can actually make a difference. Anybody who will say yes also?
Yeah.
Huh? Yes?
Of course.
Okay. Anybody say no? Anybody say no? Huh? Well, maybe I'll play the devil's advocate. Maybe the chance is very low. Now when we say we make a difference, and that's why I keep telling both of them have graduated. It's a project which is 2-3 years ago. It should be somebody else carrying on the effort. But there is a commitment that somehow, even if there's no people doing it yet, they will still like to make sure that there's a continuity. Okay? So if it's a no, it could be that Hong Kong students do have a lot of ideas. But when we come to actually implementing it, once the competition is over, and if they're not getting the funding, then they won't take up the extra of doing it by themselves. We had one very brilliant idea to advertise cycle all the way from here to Macau, and Macau all the way up to Beijing, and then as you're doing it, blog everything what you say and do a very good advertisement. But I remember we had a party a few years ago, right? And that was the last time I saw the winners. Okay? So I've just been very critical that maybe there's something lacking in us, that we are not ready. Now, we are actually ready for a lot of things. Let's ask this young man. Are you ready? Are you ready? 問咩你都唔知啊？你冇聽我講嘢啦。He's not even listening to what I say. He was doing. Are you ready to make a difference to Asia?
Of course. How would you make a difference?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, at least he doesn't know yet. But he has to make a difference to me. Because the little action that he's taken has generated some impact on my life and on the life of other people here. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't have to be big plans. It doesn't have to be things that you have a lot of sponsorship. It could be just, well, I want to do something. And Hong Kong has that spirit, right? It has the spirit, but the spirit is always related to, if I do something, I need to get financial income in return. Calvin is shaking his head. So I believe that he's an optimist, but I believe personally, over the next few years, there would be much more volunteers coming, because there's a change in education curriculum. They have to go for experiential learning, they have to take part in liberal study, and they have to make their CV looks good if they want to go to top schools like Harvard. So a lot of parents are actually planning, where can I send my kid for some experience? Okay, so OLPC is one area that we can actually support a lot of these parents who want their children to do support, okay? But the thing is, it's not that easy. It's really not that easy. So, you can be an OLPC Asia volunteers, right? And this is a very interesting a photo. It was in the pamphlet of the OLPC Asia, and then I did this one recently, you know. And Kelvin said that's OLPC for Martians, you know, 1 laptop per Martians. Okay, so hopefully we can expand. So what I want to say is that we actually have to humanize technology and education. Now, a lot of talk about OLPC is about the 100 laptop, the touch, the crank, right? The crank, when they say the crank is the real crank, you know. We talk about the physical crank, but when I talk about the crank is a cranky idea, right? We have to go beyond, right? So humanizing technology and education, and we can actually have this little word here. We talk about be a difference. We start with being a different, okay? Be something different, you know, right? And then you can actually start a difference, and then you can actually make a difference. Okay, in Hong Kong, I think there's one social entrepreneur who is running a math program, right? A math, and they have students coming in, thinking about what activities that they can do. Okay, so and just look at some photos. You know, this is the make a difference that we actually have volunteers going to the tram and putting the Exo Dragon here, and this is the photo again 4 years ago when I got involved in OLPC as a volunteer and going into the tram and have a photo taken. Okay, so why I like bad, mad, and sad, because as a psychologist, I believe that we have to be a little bad, little sad, and a little mad to understand how people work and how people feel and how people think. Just a little bit, as long as you do not have the action, then you're okay, okay? So what I want you to do now, as I say, is actually invite you all for a party tonight where you can meet more volunteers if you're interested. Tonight at 7 o'clock we will have a party at Boys and Girls Club Association. Then we can welcome the guests from overseas, right? The door opens at 7 p.m. Too bad, no free beer, we don't have sponsorship. And there'll be some surprises, there'll be some exploitage, meet old and new friends, over the Visitors Fairing Network. And most importantly in Hong Kong, this culture is very important. Blow water. You know what blow water is, right? 吹水, 吹水, 吹水. Blow water in Cantonese means 吹水, 吹, blow water. So it's basically coming together and just talk nonsense and without any substance. Everybody laugh, everybody seems to be very happy and they have a good time and then bye-bye. And this is a very common culture in university. Because I work in university for 9 years, 吹水, 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 you know? So but bra 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 bra. Okay? So hopefully we could actually, from the blowing water, we can actually come up with some very good ideas, okay? So thank you for listening. And this picture, I don't know whether you can see the little, it's not a little ear, it's a big ear. It's a photo that came up from the Tin Sui Wai. The student actually, I asked the student to say, can you go back and draw the actual? And he actually came back the next morning. I have a drawing in my bag, and when we took out, he actually had this picture. The ears was very, very good, okay? Very, very, very big, you know. So you can make a difference with your heart, your head, and your hands, and instead of doing good, maybe we can do things right, do it right now. It's something that I always talk about, okay? So thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Well, being an impromptu moderator, I'm making impromptu, very short conclusion. After listening to all the interesting, critical, and very intellectual discussions I learned from you, as I told most of you, that I am what you call the immigrant, digital citizen. So you all are young people belonging to the 90s. I belong to the 30s. So it makes a difference. But after listening to all of you talking and with intellect in your speech, so I have some conclusion to make after listening to the king of impromptu speaker. All right. So I think we could make a difference if we, as researchers, scholars, politicians, especially in Asia, and entrepreneur, and we get together to do very critical research, because without research it's not convincing. To us, research is a very, what we call a logo thing. In Aristotle's thing, it's logos. Without logos, it's not persuasive. So I think it's very important. We do research, and you, two scholars from abroad, then you help us to make a difference. And then I have researched a few words by Douglas Bellushaw. He's a very new digital expert. He has 8 C's for us to ponder: culture, cognitive, construction, communication, confidence, creative, critical thinking, and then finally civic. But I add one more. That's what he has prompted me: cash. 9 C's are very important to make it possible, to make it a difference. This difference could be very positive and optimistic. What I call it the 2H2O. One H is health, the other one happiness, the other one O is optimistic. And with his word, the 3 H's, heads, hands, and hearts, will make a difference, not only for students in Hong Kong, but for people everywhere, if we have all these things. And finally, in conclusion remark, is made by Buckingham in 2007. He said, digital literacy must therefore involve systematic awareness of how digital media are constructed, and of unique rhetoric of interactive communication. And what James Fiennes, I told you a little while ago, in the 60s, he was the chairperson of the DAVI, Division of Audiovisual Instruction, and finally they changed it to Association for Educational Communication. He is the first president of that association. All right, he said that communication makes difference. There's so many literature on education technology, or audiovisual, or even IT, has seldom, very seldom, very little, I would say, research on communication. So in communication, the sender, which is all of us, the receiver, all the students, we have to communicate, we have to talk together, interface, socializing it. Digital communication is to socialize our intellect, emotions, heads, and feelings. All right? And then it's very, very important. So in other words, if we do want to make a difference, we have to put our hearts, heads, and hands together to make it work for all of us. And communication is very important. The media, the channel, and of course, the message makes difference. Thank you very much. And we have to give TK a big applause. The best of the best impromptu speaker, and the best of the best of the seminar organizer. Give a big hand, please. And a big hands to all the presenters and all the participants. And finally, questions, and then he will conduct the questioning, because my better half, I will say, she is waiting for me. So I have to leave you with thoughts, because I don't want to leave, but I think the better half is more important. In my heart, in my heart, in my head, in my hands, in my lips too. All right, thank you. A very successful seminar. Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
No formality, no souvenirs, nothing. Okay, so anyway, glad of you. In fact, we booked the room up to 6 o'clock. knowing that there's a possibility of people like to interact and have questions. But I think both of you may have to leave a bit early. So anyway, feel free. We have come to the end, and hopefully the message that some of you can actually start thinking about what you can do to contribute. Leave your email address, come to the party tonight, and then meet more people, and then there will be some synergy. Any questions so far? Anybody like to ask any questions? Huh? Yeah.
Also, I'd like to make a comment. TK and Raymond, what's his name? So TK said something about humanizing education, make a difference, and all the good stuff, right? But then, how do you do this? What's the next step forward? Now, I've been involved in e-learning research projects over here at PolyU, and what we have done is to challenge the traditional thinking. Why should we let the adults create the activities or even the curriculum? Why can't we let the kids do it, right? Because they're the one with the innovation, they're the one with the creativity and the context. So what we've done is we actually got the college kids, college students, to create learning activities, such as games, other activities like quizzes and stuff. And then we put this on the learning portal, and then through that we distribute this learning portal to the class, and then through that they learn the materials. So what the volunteers could do for OLPC is to utilize what we have, like say for example Scratch, Turtle Art, Memorize. Use these activities. These activities are very powerful, and we could use these activities to create learning activities for the other kids. Yeah, you got it? Yeah. So, because with OLPC, the teaching model is the teachers are just facilitators. The actual learning are done by the kids, and new learning also comes from the kids. We just facilitate this learning. So, given that, the best agents to create new contexts and activities should be from the kids, right? And then, so we use these activities, the students use these activities to create new learning activities for other students. And then so that's my idea.
Any other comment? So he's asking actually, some of you give some of your spare time instead of using too much Facebook. Harvard created Facebook, and I think one of the greatest time wasters for a lot of people, but not for me. I use a lot of time on Facebook also, but a lot of young people actually are so stuck into Facebook. I've been following the work of Sherry Turkle, and as I say, we are also in the danger of using too much. So, can you just give maybe 1 hour? No, in fact, it's a very good example. 20 years ago, I had one young man from England who says that he used Archon computer, right? And he came to Hong Kong, I think with a girlfriend from Hong Kong, and I was just thinking of how to have a chat game in Chinese. So I gave him the source code. They look at it, and he say change to the double byte, and within an hour, that chat interface was able to support Chinese chat. Those were the days when you have 6 users in the chat room on a dial-up modem talking to each other in Cantonese. So he just spent that 1 hour. We had that little tool that Jackie Chan was chatting with a disabled in a hospital, and another one was at home, and then one of the disabled person asked, "Can you come and visit me in the hospital?" And he said yes, and he actually went to the hospital to visit that person with disability. So that's why when I go to bar camp or when I go to hackers meeting, I keep challenging a lot of young people, because you are spending a lot of time creating very, very complicated things, but what we need is not very complicated thing. Sugar activities, sugar add-on are something that can be done very easily. Okay, so think about that one. Any other comments? Any other questions? Huh? Want to say anything? Sorry about me. Yeah.
Sorry, I've got a question. I was just wondering that for laptops like these, apart from schools, do you also reach out to other areas like slums or rural areas where the kids don't even have access to education and school?
Yeah, I mean, think about Hong Kong. Hong Kong is supposed to be a very urban area, but we know that there are students who do not have access, right? So, if you have an idea, if you locate an area that you think that you would like to make a difference, then talk to us, raise some money, get support, and then have your own volunteer group to start doing something. You know, I mean, a lot of things are started. You know, you don't have to be top down. You know, I joined OLPC as a volunteer, but they already have a group, and I was just an outsider. In fact, I'm still one foot in, 1 foot out. And Loretta would know. I mean, to a certain extent, I'm 1 foot in because I know what's actually happening. But to a certain extent, also there are some initiatives that I do that I know may take some time for OLPC Asia to get implemented. So I actually do. So when you talk about Nicaragua, in fact, one of the initiatives that have been spreading for a long time is one laptop per disabled child, OLPC disabled child. Because you think about disabled children, you know, they will need something like that, very rugged, right? And yesterday, Kevin, remember, Kevin, we were walking out from the Tin Shui Wai, and then we saw a very severely disabled person on a wheelchair, and he actually got volunteers to make sure that his synthesizer was working, and he had two big what do you call that? Sound blaster, and he was actually canvassing for a politician. So a very severely disabled, making a difference. I think if you look at Facebook, you look for somebody by the name of Sky. Okay? Anybody else? Any question to the guest, to Sadanka? You know, Sadanka, yeah.
Any planned activity for OLPC in the future?
Yes, Loretta, you like to Loretta did some very good work.
Well, I'm not a spokesperson for OLPC, but I'm in the loop and I can give you some updates. I think the most recent one would be we are identifying some rural schools in Sichuan, and I think it's in Langshan, which is a really remote area. You need to walk for hours, and the laptops need to be loaded on donkeys. We're identifying one of the schools to deploy, to do our next deployment in Sichuan. It would be one of our mini deployments. And also, I believe in October, we would be returning to Bhutan. Actually, the pictures is just over there. Bhutan is actually one of the least developed countries in the world. And actually, one of the most important mission of OLPC is actually help most least developed countries in Asia, which is why Hong Kong is not really one of our priorities. Yeah.
How can we get the update from OLPC? Because the website has been updated for.
Yeah, actually,
we. Email list or like a Facebook.
Actually, we are OLPC Asia Pacific. We're run by a team of volunteers, and as you can see from website, it actually tells you the truth because we haven't updated it for ages. So we need volunteers and passionate volunteers who can continually work with us in all aspects, including updating websites, blogs, list to mention fundraising, and actually cleaning and flashing laptops, that sort of thing.
Any question you can ask, because Loretta was one of the very, in fact, first somebody.
I think I was the second batch of volunteers since it was founded in 2008. Yeah, so. And it's really hard to retain the same kind of passion unless people like TK keep pushing it.
I'm pretty mad. You know, I'm glad that my wife is really sick of me always using the computer, little computer. So whenever he comes around, I make sure that everything is away. But last night, she came back and I had wires all over the table because I was testing the school server, and she didn't say anything. So I'm very glad because it's an obsession. To me, it's an obsession. For whatever reason, somehow, the feeling of empowering people to me is such, you know, it gives you a very good feeling, right? So, you would like to tell about the story of the little girl? Yesterday.
We had a very sad goodbye yesterday. So after our second day of classes at the first school in the morning, we said goodbye to the students and explained that we wouldn't be having another session, that we were going back to the United States. And one of the little girls, who tends to be a bit more emotional, burst into tears and came in. She grabbed us and tried to physically keep us from leaving. So it was very sad, but I don't know. It made me realize how much of an impact that we had on the kids, and just even coming in and getting to interact with people outside of Hong Kong, how much of an impact that had on them.
So I mean, that actually shows that. Anyone like to add up?
I mean, whenever we go, I've used it. Children love the EXO, and I keep saying that. Another thing that I always keep talking about, OLPC per Hong Kong child. Again, everybody, I've been posting in Facebook. Everybody is just saying, "Oh, why should we have OLPC? They don't need this kind of computer." But I think we have shown, at least in the kindergarten, that they can actually use it, right? And some of you have been following on Facebook. I've actually done a little experiment, putting a Samsung Galaxy with an EXO, and then 6 children, they're around 7 to 8 to 9. I gave them a choice to choose one and play with it. So 4 choose the EXO and 2 choose the tablet. And you can actually see the energy using the EXO compared to the tablet, right? So these are little experiments that you can do, and you put it up, and you actually change a lot of people's mindset, because the biggest problem we have when you present this to schools is that they think the EXO is for developing countries. So if you give it to us, then you're treating us like we are, very backward. Right? But what if we change the mindset that this is a laptop of desire, where the parents actually want to own one, right? Your mom say that they would like to get you the EXO. Well, I say I can't get you the EXO until we have a give one get one. So these 2 little kids, so I think there is a demand for supporting parents, even parents coming together, have an EXO learning center, and they can start to play with, So, and then you actually change the mindset, right? So these are the kind of things that we can actually work on. I don't want to have mindset that Hong Kong is not. I think for you, both of you, to a certain extent, people ask me, how come you're deploying it in Hong Kong? Right? They have to be explained for the donation of the 30 EXO, right? So if they can't give a good explanation, then they say, you're not. So you're have to be very careful, okay? Your dad is here. 可唔可以問你講一樣嘢先？This is another of my student.
Any comment on the EXO? You have exposure to it for the first time.
Yeah.
When we went for the EXO Dragon, you took his 2 children together.
My experience was very little, but actually it was rather fun, and I think the design behind this tiny thing is really huge, and I don't know, if I was a kid, then I think it should be a very useful tool for kids to learn and to have some fun. And if the program is developed, a little bit more, then perhaps it could be used for even teenagers or adult use as well.
So would you buy one for your kid?
Yeah, but the prototype is already interesting, but I'm more interested in the tablet type of EXOs. Yeah, I saw that there was a one with like a touch screen, then I think it would be even more easier to use.
Okay, now let me
give you some explanation. Another thing which is happening now is that a lot of people say that the tablet is coming up, so why not get a tablet? Why get an EXO? Okay. Now, in few months' time, you will have an EXO like this with touchscreen. So you will have the same form factor but with touchscreen. So you can have the best of 2 worlds. Okay. The one that you saw, the EXO 3, is just touchscreen. Okay? And the reason why I say this is that you save ease of use. A lot of parents say that, well, if I give them a tablet, they can do a lot of things very quickly. They're so impressed that the kid can do ABC, they can do so many things. But when they use the EXO, they seem to be struggling. This doesn't seem to work. Okay? So my answer to this, to parents, is that make them think, challenge them. Okay? So there was talk about Khan Academy. I wrote in my Facebook, the problem with Khan Academy is that he does the thinking for you. Right? He does the thinking for you. He put it into a way that you can understand. But if you do the thinking yourself, then you should actually know much more and learn much more. So same thing with the EXO, or compared to tablet. You know, the tablet is actually meant for very young children. From my experience, it will suit very young children, and for grannies and old people. For young people like us, it's only for convenience, for browse the web and do certain things. But for children who are 5, 6, 7 years old, I think they should have a laptop. So maybe this will change your buying decision. Any counter argument?
Any counter argument?
I have to see the real thing before I choose which one to use. But personally, I prefer to have the kind of keyboard, and sometimes it's easier for me to input. But I think from my experience, as I observed my kid using this, the older one of EXO, they have sometimes difficult in switching back to use the finger point system. Yeah, because they are more used to the touchscreen nowadays, and so sometimes they have a little bit confusion when they first try to use the left click right mouse button and the left mouse button on that small pad.
Any parents, anybody like to?
Actually, I have some comments too.
I think
Actually, the previous question I was asking also like similar concern that he was just talking about. We know that the kids grow up like between like 5 to 6 years old. I mean, this is perfect. But when he goes to like primary 3, primary 4, they probably do a lot of like homeworks using real computers.
Yeah.
You know that's why, you know, it really depends on which kind of age you are looking at this EXO. And then when you got this EXO, what do you expect that the kids will learn? You know, they have schools. Of course, in Hong Kong it's free education. And of course, some like China in the mountains, like the students they probably don't even have a school education system as we do here. But then the difference is we have to like identify like what kind of education program, which is the real thing we want to give them, not really the hardware.
Okay.
And that's you have to be very clear that not to overlap the resources.
Okay. Sadanka, you want to reply to that one?
You want to reply to that one? I think you can, you know, because
Give it a go.
Well, actually, yeah. I have a thinking like I think the same like Kevin. It's about changing actually the mindset of how we make education. Actually, I'm very radical. In my country, I personally, my colleagues are afraid, but I didn't. I threw the curriculum. You know, because I say it's not useful, because this curriculum is more for person living in an urban city. Is not contextualized to my children in Andean regions. We have a different perspective, different world, different, everything is different. So I started doing the curriculum, not curriculum, I don't call it curriculum. What they want to learn, asking to the children, what do you want to learn this year? They say, we want to learn this. So I started following them, not following the big bosses, not following the minister of the just following my children.
Well, I would agree that because the situations you are tailoring to what they really need. But when you talk about tailoring, who's going to do that? You actually need more resources. I mean, and you probably need a kind of open platform so that
Yeah.
you can do it development.
No, I mean, you use the word, use a real computer. Bill Gates used the same word. Come on, give the kids the real computer. Right? We'll ask people like this who use computer for the livelihood.
It's the actual real computer.
Yeah, actually, EXO is you can say it's a real computer, but it depends on what you think about computer is. Okay, so if you use computer is just for work, okay, it's fine. It can install the other OS platform as well. You can change all the UI because that's Linux. You can change everything as you would like. Actually, you do it as a window interface as well. Yeah, but you cannot use PowerPoint, but you can
still have an add-on.
Yeah, but you can still have some alternative software to use some similar function.
Well, I know because I'm a computer engineer.
Yeah. So that.
The thing is, you say that this is all you can do.
Yeah.
But in reality, who is really can do the hands-on thing? Really make a change. Not too many people can really do it.
Yeah, but the problem when you
need like the programmer, engineers to do certain things.
Yeah.
And the development stage you need much longer time to cycle.
Yeah, but as you can see, actually all kind of this open source project you can see there's it's just all the people want to do it. Just they like to do it. It's not actually it's not a waterfall campaign say that there's something we have to do it and then we force everyone to do the same thing. It's just something that okay, I think some special idea, the other thing special idea, okay, and then the others think, oh, it's fun.